not to feel any one way, of course, but like this is a safe space where you can just kind of be where you're at in life. I don't really have any expectations for you or anything, so, but I do hope you're doing well because I wish you well and care in that regard. So hopefully, even if things are a little rough for you right now, you can feel that warmth come and let that like sort of touch your day a little bit. Maybe it'll help. So, okay, yeah. So, what have you been up to? Do you have any big plans for this week? I think for me, I've got some work to do. I've been writing this like really big paper for a couple of months now, and it's like something I do. I don't have a lot of time each week to give it, so it's taken quite a while, but it's also like 25 pages long, and so it's like fucking huge, and I am editing it now, so I've like gotten the like really big labor of that first draft done, and now I'm doing the like much easier parts, which are like making sure that everything flows well and that the information is concise, especially where it's so long. You have to just like get the information out and be like boom, 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 and make it very, very scannable. I think if I was allowed to write articles in a like kind of normal way, that would be like half the length. You know what I mean? Like, but because you do have to space everything out, it's a very long article. But I've been working very hard on it, and I have like 45 different sources that I've used, which is kind of fun. I live for this too. Like, it might sound like a nightmare or something to some people, but for me, this is what I like live for and train for, and I've been working my whole life to be able to like do these types of things, and writing since I was a kid and stuff. So this is kind of me living my full life in a way, and it's been really, really nice. And actually, like, just as a side note, this contract that I have, it's been going on. It started. I wrote one article for somebody, and then it turned into 3 years. So and counting. So, and every single thing I do is like the most fun I've ever had in my career. And I think that honestly, I think I've been lucky because I've managed to kind of build a career for myself where that just kind of keeps being true, and like everything I do, I enjoy more and more. So that's really nice to know, and I'm glad that I can kind of almost earn a living doing that and having that degree of happiness in my life. So that's kind of fun. I don't know. So yeah, I've also been taking a graphic design course to just learn, because I'm very artistic, so I'm just trying to learn how to do that better. Just be better at it and learn some of the basics. Like I knew about color theory, but the course actually taught me a bunch of new stuff about color theory and taught me a few things on how to like pick colors and stuff like that more accurately and make them more harmonious and all of the, that type of stuff. Color theory shit. But been like really enjoying it and practicing, and I've got like a couple of friends who have like some graphic design needs, and I've been like, let me do it, I just want to practice. And once again, it's kind of fun to have that much like passion and enjoyment in my life. And so I have to make a bunch of graphics for this article that I was talking about as well, but instead of feeling quite as intimidated as I had been before, now I'm feeling like, let's go, because I want to practice. That's kind of fun. Like, have you been taking any courses or anything like that, or like, is there anything in your life that makes you feel like that? I would love to hear about things. Sometimes talking like this is really fun, but I do wish that there was more of a conversational element to it, and I would love it if people like commented and left. I want to try to figure out ways to get more engagement and to try to make some of the rambles like like questions or something. I don't know. I just like when people talk in the comments and I can talk back. I just really enjoy that. So if you want to like leave a comment or anything, I know that a lot of people talk about it, like growing your channel and stuff, and obviously I want that, but I genuinely just want to like talk to people about what makes them happy. Okay, so what else do I have going on? I don't know. I mean, it's like the height of summer. Weather's been pretty comfortable lately. The humidity is down and the temperature is down, and that's very nice. I enjoy that. I get to wear my favorite jeans, which you guys can't see right now, but they're awesome. Hey, actually, let's see. Maybe I'll show you. They're super huge. They're really, really baggy, and when I walk, they're like with the fabric. It's so funny. I love it so much. Let me see if I can show you. Just a second. Oh, hopefully that worked out and looked like you could see what was going on. Hang on, I want to get back into my spot. Okay, hopefully that worked out and you could see what was going on. But yeah, I love them. They just go, like I said, they make all those fabric-y sounds when I walk around and stuff, and it's a lot of fun to, I don't know. But it's also been like 90 degrees with 100% humidity for a couple of weeks, so it's kind of hard to wear like an entire like circus tent's worth of denim or whatever. Anyway, I'm kind of in this like baggy clothes era, or like I like at least baggy pants, and then I can have the crop tops. I've been really digging crop tops lately, and I've been like getting a really good. Oh, hang on, I gotta move my mic. I've been getting a really good kind of groove with working out and kind of getting a little bit of tone and stuff. So I've been enjoying the crop top thing even more, and then the baggy pants like kind of add to it. And oh boy, now I remember watching a vlog where somebody was talking about really vibing on baggy clothes and tight shirts because it was like kind of gender neutral or something. I can't remember who it was. It might have been Courtney Miller. I think it was Courtney Miller from Smosh, where they were talking about kind of trying to adapt their style to like be more like non-binary or whatever. And I think I was like already heading down that path anyway, so I just kind of felt like validated by that, and I'm just leaning into it a bit more. Kind of my own take on that, though. It's like hard, I think, with people like with a brain like mine. I have a tendency to see things I really like and then be like, that's mine now, I'm gonna do it. And a lot of people think that it is copying them, which that's fair, sure. But I feel like I'm kind of like a collection of like all the cool things I've seen in life and all the cool people I've met, just like little bits of things here and there that I kind of take on or whatever, or adapt. I don't know what the word I am looking for is, other than that it's like a common thing that you see with autistic people. Maybe it's a function of the way that autistic people try to blend in, but I think it's a lot of times like a function of I wonder, sometimes autistic people will have a hard time saying something until you provide them with a phrase, and then that phrase like is part of their vernacular forever because it encapsulates what they couldn't say. And I know that like everyone does this, blah blah blah, but this is something that autistic people do a lot more. That is kind of, I think, indicative. Like there seems to be like a stronger like activity in like mirroring neurons or something like that with autistic people, and I also think that there are just a second. My husband's going between rooms. also language barriers. And there's other things. There's something called alexithymia that makes it so it's kind of hard to identify like internal states and stuff like that. But I think a lot of autistic people talk about feeling like when they speak out loud with their mouths that it's some form of translation always, and that a lot of like verbal language is like a translation of sorts. And so sometimes it can be really hard to even like have the proper vocabulary. But once you give us the vocabulary, then that's like what we run with. And I think that, you know, I think that that's like expresses itself in other ways as well. That's all. Kind of a long-winded way of saying that I felt really validated by that vlog, and then was like, I'm gonna go ahead and lean into that for me. But because I don't like to be copying people, I am trying to sort of make it my own. And that means having absolutely enormous mom-type jeans that fit in a weird way, but also, like I said, make the awesome sound and just make me happy inside. So anyway, long talk about jeans. That's fun. I don't really know what I'm trying to say with the autism thing, but maybe you can find it relatable. Especially other autistic people out there probably know exactly what I'm trying to say, even though I'm maybe not doing the best at saying it. That's okay though. I'm just like speaking off the top of my head, so I don't have to be perfect. So I saw this like cool post on Twitter, and it was basically just like what album was formative from your youth. There are a lot of really cool answers. First of all, I love music, but I also love it when people ask about other people's music, because you can see a wide variety of influences and things that people like. And I think that the older I get, the more I move away from feeling like snotty about music, and the more I'm kind of like comforted by the fact that you can pretty much like whatever you want. And those lists are like people talking about music gets more and more fun because of that, where it's just, you're kind of just free to like what you like and stuff. And so I was like enjoying going through and seeing the different albums, and some of them I'd listened to before and some I'd never even heard of before, and that was kind of fun. And then I started kind of thinking about how I would answer that. I had a lot of albums that I listened to when I was younger that I liked a lot, but I don't know what about them, or like I wasn't sure. I had to like think for a little while about which one was like formative. I don't know. I'm still being drawn to think about it because it is a very interesting question. So first, I would like to pose the question to you: what kind of albums did you listen to when you were younger that like really shaped who you are? I think for me, I was thinking about, my first thought was when I was younger, I got, maybe I've already said this on this channel, I don't know, you get to hear it again. When I was younger, my mom's boyfriend was super into like the oldies, and he only listened to the oldies station on the radio. And being someone who's always had a pretty eclectic taste in music, I actually bonded with him a lot over like learning the essentially new music to me, and kind of getting to know what he enjoyed. And one time he bought me Carly Simon's Greatest Hits. It was a tape. I was a kid in the 90s, in the late 80s and 90s, so I had tapes. And he got me a Carly Simon tape, and it was her Greatest Hits album, and he was like, I think you'd like this. And like, I very much did. It was actually one of my first favorite albums, although I think New Kids on the Block probably got that edge out when I was like 5 or whatever. But this Carly Simon tape there was a couple of songs. One of them was Legend in Your Own Time, and the other one was The Way I've Always Heard It Should Be. And was another one called Mockingbird too. Um, but like those songs were so fun and so interesting, and her vocal performances, especially in Legend in Your Own Time, she goes from like really high, well not like super high, but she goes from like high up and then she goes down pretty low. And when I was a kid, I could get most of the high notes, but I couldn't get down low. My voice wasn't flexible enough. And I remember trying to sing along to that song and listening to her sing that song and thinking, that's it. I have to be able to do this. I have to learn. I'm a singer now. I sing. And I did learn how to do it. It's still one of my favorite songs to this day. I don't listen to it like often, obviously, but if you put it on, it's time to be quiet so I can sing the whole thing, every word. So there's that. But I don't know, like that is in its own way formative, because I still to this day am pretty passionate about singing, but I don't know if that is the album I like. Well, it's not the album I picked on the thread. The album I ended up going with was actually Supposed Former Infatuation Junkie by Alanis Morissette. That was a CD. I had a CD that time, not a tape. So we're going a little bit ahead in time now. I remember wanting the album very, very badly because I was not allowed to have Jagged Little Pill because she said fucking that. And I grew up in a very religious family and that was very like controlling and whatnot. So I was not allowed. I think it also worked against her that it wasn't just a swear. She was literally talking about sex as well. So she was crassly talking about sex, which is like a double no-no in a religious and controlling environment. So when the other album came out and there wasn't that like popular like that like pop culture backlash against it, it kind of flew under the radar a little bit more, because even not being allowed to listen to have Jagged Little Pill, I listened to the whole thing and memorized every song. So I wanted Supposed Former Infatuation Junkie really bad, and then I got it and I started listening to it, and it was 17 songs long, which is huge for an album. I don't know, I think even to this day albums don't often go to that length. I think it was like the max of what could fit on a CD at that time as well. It was like an hour long or something. And it came with like a booklet, with like a lyric booklet. And I know this is gonna make me sound old, but I miss that in music. I love having MP3s. I love having like everything I want to listen to at my fingertips very conveniently. But I miss the art in albums, and I miss the booklets that had all the lyrics so that you could read along. And one of the things that stood out to me in that album was how much she had to say. The booklet was thick, and every song had like 4 verses and 4 choruses, and the choruses were all different. And then, you know what I mean? And so there was just like so much going on. But a lot of what she talked about was also pretty relatable to me. She talked a lot about being taken advantage of. She talked a lot about accountability, and not just like accountability, for like other people and what they're doing, but like what she's doing and how she's contributing to the situation as well. And I think in my life that was one of the first times that I was kind of allowed the room to like think about what other people were doing and like try to process that, and but also to like say like, you know, this is what I'm doing and this is what I can control essentially. And a lot of what she talked about that she would like, I guess, do wrong in the situation was again very relatable. It was very much about like making yourself small for approval and making yourself like bending over backwards to maintain the emotional like balance of another person. But there's also things like being a hypocrite and being jealous and being I don't know if you would call her like a pick-me girl, but like I don't like, she's not wanting other people to not wanting other people to thrive, because that will take away from like how special you are and things like disappointed. And I think there was also a lot of discussion about denying yourself. Like I mentioned making yourself smaller, but it's not just that. It's about like literally like cutting yourself off. Like, don't have these thoughts, don't do these things, don't feel this way or that way. Don't have these opinions. Like, there's a song where she talks about having an opinion and having to monitor how she, like, being asked a question, having an opinion about the question, and still needing to. The line is, I had to watch my tone for fear of having you feel judged. And then she like launches into a chorus about the things she was hoping for in the relationship that don't seem to be materializing. And so yeah, like, I don't know, I was like maybe 15, 16, somewhere in there, maybe 17 when I got that album. And yeah, it was a like pretty powerful experience for me to like have those types of dynamics kind of laid out in front of me. And I think another thing I really liked about the album was that the music was different than I was used to. I think she was being a bit experimental in her production, and she was looking for different influences, and it was, the album itself is like completely different than Jagged Little Pill in like its tone and how it felt. It was introspective but like amped up a bunch, and there were like elements, like some of the different types of vocal performances. Let me think of a song that's a good example of this. I'm trying to think of a song from Jagged Little Pill. It's like right on the tip of my tongue. Oh shit, You Learn, that song. Like the way that some of the vocals like overlap, and the way that there's like heavily harmonized like the oohs and ahs are like heavily harmonized and overlapping and kind of at times competing with each other. And she took that and like leaned into it super hard for for supposed former infatuation junkie. And a lot of songs had a lot of those breakdowns with the competing harmonies and the different parts kind of fighting over each other and weaving in and out. And as someone who again loves singing, that was a thrilling thing to try to deconstruct and like figure out how to sing. And that was really fun. I enjoyed that a lot. So I think I do feel like that is one of those albums that if you were to say like like if I was to meet someone and they were like, give me music that teaches me about you, I'd give them that album. And maybe not every song on it. There's a few that I almost never listened to. I think I would start with the song One, and I would start with Can't Not as a song, and then Dear Darling and Your Congratulations and Would Not Come. I think those are the main ones that I would like start people on. But there's like other stuff like Front Row is the first song on the album, and that song is relatable but also an absolute delight to sing. So I would recommend that people, like anyone trying to get to know me, listen to that. I would feel like it would help them as well. But and then there's like a song called Sympathetic Character that I think is very relatable, and Are You Still Mad is another one that's like very relatable. So I won't name the songs I don't especially like because I don't want to be rude, but there are a couple of songs in there. I remember one time sharing that album with my dad, and him picking out his favorite song was like one I've like never listened to and don't enjoy at all, and just being kind of like, oh, okay, cool, I guess. But like I'm glad he liked it and tried to like connect with me on that level. So like as an adult, I know that now. When I was like 17, I was just kind of like, I guess that song's stupid. Anyway, that's enough about that album. You get the point, of course. So yeah, I think that's all I really have to talk about. I'm looking at the video and we're doing pretty good on time, so I think I'll end it here. once again, let me know, like, if you've got anything fun going on in your life, or what kind of albums you found formative when you were growing up, and, you know, maybe a little bit of, like, why. It'd be kind of fun. Maybe if you, like, leave a bunch of stuff in the comments, I'll, like, make another video and just kind of, like, read through some of it and talk about some of what you guys answered so that you can, be a part of the conversation. That would be fun. I would really like that. So, I hope you have a really good night, and I hope to see you soon.